Pleasant morning to everyone. We are the group 6 and today we will tackle about the changes in life cycle of vectors and pathogens. Objectives: at the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify what are vectors and its role, determine the different types of pathogens, describe the importance of the life cycle of vectors and pathogens, and lastly, understand the role of vectors in the spread of pathogens. Next slide, please. What is vectors? Vectors are living things that can carry and spread germs that make people and animals sick. One of the most well known vectors is the mosquito. Mosquitoes are among the most common vectors for disease transmission. When they bite an infected host, such as a human or an animal, they can pick up the disease causing pathogen. Afterwards, when they bite another host, they can transfer the pathogen into the new host bloodstream, potentially infecting them with the disease. In this way, mosquitoes act as intermediaries that facilitate the spread of diseases from one host to another. And with that said, the World Health Organization, or WHO, recognizes that diseases spread by mosquitoes pose a significant public health threat. Some of the diseases transmitted by mosquitoes to people include 1. Zika virus. Zika is a virus that can make pregnant women's babies have problems when they born. It can also make adults sick with symptoms like fever, a rash, and joint pain. So, it's a virus that can affect both babies and adults. Second, we have West Nile virus. West Nile virus is the germ that can make people feel sick. It can give you symptoms similar to the flu, or in some cases, it can lead to severe problems with your brain and nerves. It can cause anything from mild flu like symptoms to more serious brain and nerve issues. 3. Chikungunya virus. Chikungunya is a sickness that gives you a really high fever and can make your joints hurt a lot. It can also make your joints hurt for a long time even after you get better. It's an illness that causes a bad fever and can give you long lasting joint problems. Number 4, we have yellow fever. Yellow fever is a viral disease that can lead to severe illness, including jaundice, a medical condition that causes a person's skin and the whites of their eyes to turn yellow and can cause internal bleeding. Number 5, dengue. Dengue fever can range from mild to severe, with symptoms including high fever, severe headache, joint and muscle pain, in severe cases, dengue hemorrhagic fever or dengue shock syndrome. Number 6, malaria. Malaria is caused by a parasite transmitted through the bite of infected Anopheles mosquitoes. It can lead to symptoms like fever, chills, and if left untreated, severe complication and even can cause death. Controlling the spread of these diseases often involves efforts to reduce mosquito population or protect individuals from mosquito bites. Such measures can include the use of insecticides, mosquito nets, and the development of vaccines. Understanding the role of vectors like mosquitoes in disease transmission is essential for public health authorities to develop effective strategies to prevent and manage these diseases. Next slide.
Pathogens are organisms that causes disease, posing a significant threat to all living organisms within the biological kingdom. They are also commonly referred to as infectious agents. Pathogens come in various forms, and they can be broadly categorized into four main types. First, the viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. So let's explore each of these types. So, viruses are tiny infectious agents that consist of genetical material enclosed in a protein coat. They lack the cellular structure of living organisms and only replicate inside a host cell. Examples of viral disease include COVID-19, the flu, and HIV. And second, bacteria. Bacteria are microorganisms that can be found virtually everywhere in the environment. While some bacteria are beneficial, others can cause various diseases, such as tuberculosis, strep throat, and food poisoning. And next is fungi. Fungi are eukaryotic microorganisms that can be found in the air, soil, and water. They can cause disease, including at least foot, ringworm, or fungal infection of the nails and skin. And parasites. Parasites are organisms that live on an insect host organism and derive their nourishment from the host. They can be protozoa or multicellular organisms like worms. Examples of parasitic disease include malaria caused by Plasmodium and intentional worm infections. And pathogens have a significant impact on human health, agriculture, and environment. Understanding how pathogens function and spread is essential for disease prevention, control, and treatment. In summary, pathogens are infectious agents that have the potential to cause disease in all living organisms. Being aware of different types of pathogens and their characteristics is crucial in our effort to combat and manage disease. Next.
Vector borne diseases, or VBD, are illness that are passed from one host to another through the help of carriers known as vectors. Vectors are organisms that can carry disease causing pathogens and transfer them to another living beings. The World Health Organization categorizes VBD transmission into two main types. First, we have the anthroponotic infections. In these types of VBDs, the disease causing pathogens primarily circulate between humans. Vectors like mosquitoes or ticks can transmit the pathogen from one infected human to another. For example, diseases like malaria and dengue often involve anthroponotic transmission when an infected person is bitten by a vector which then spreads the disease to another person. And the second one, the zoonotic infections. In this type of VBD transmission, the disease causing pathogens typically involve a cycle between animals and humans. Vectors such as certain mosquitoes or ticks can pick the pathogen from an infected animal and transmit it to a human. Some examples of zoonotic VBDs include diseases like West Nile virus, where the virus can be passed from infected birds to a humans via mosquito bites. In both cases, vectors play a crucial role in spreading these diseases by acting as intermediaries between infected hosts and potential hosts. Understanding the types of VD transmission is essential for controlling and preventing these diseases. Next slide, please.
So, the life cycle of pathogens. The life cycle of pathogens is intrinsically linked to their ability to transition from one host to another, which is depicted in Figure 4. Now, for a disease to take hold and develop, several key steps must occur. These steps encompass the pathogen's journey from initial contact to establishing a foothold within a host tissues and cells. The chain of events involved in disease development can be broken down into several stages. So the first is inoculation. This marks the beginning of the pathogen's journey. Inoculation involves the introduction of pathogens into a new host. This can happen through various means, such as contact with contaminated surfaces, ingestion, inhalation, or transmission of biobacteria like mosquitoes. And the second is penetration. Once introduced into the host body, the pathogen must navigate through various barriers and defenses. It may need to breach the skin, mucous membranes, or other protective mechanisms to access the host's internal tissues and cells. And the third is infection. Successful penetration results in the establishment of infection. This stage involves the pathogen's interaction with the host cells and the initiation of the disease process. The pathogen may produce toxins, interfere with the host immune response, and start reproducing. After infection, there is a period during which the pathogen multiplies and spreads within the host, but symptoms are not yet apparent. This phase is known as the incubation period and varies the duration depending on the pathogen and the host immune response. And next is the reproduction. As the pathogen continues to reproduce and proliferate within the host, it may produce a higher pathogen load. This increase can lead of the eventual manifestation of symptoms, and clinical signs of the disease and the survival. Pathogens' long-term survival within the host is crucial for its continued transmission to other potential hosts. Some pathogens establish persistent infection, while others may be cleared by the host immune system, leading to recovery in some cases. The pathogen entering the dormant state. Understanding these stages in the life cycle of pathogens and chain of events involved disease development is fundamental for public health, as informs strategies for prevention, control, and treatment infectious disease. By intervening at various points in this cycle, it is possible to disrupt the transmission and progression of disease, safeguarding the health of both individuals and patients. So here's the question. How does the life cycle of pathogen depend on the transmission from one host to another? So the life cycle of pathogens is intrinsically linked to their transmission from one host to another. In order for a disease to develop, a pathogen must be present and successfully invade the tissues and cells of a host. The transmission of pathogens from one host to another is a critical step in the life cycle. Pathogens can be transmitted through various means, including direct contact, inhalation of contaminated air or droplets, ingestion of contaminated food and water, and through vectors like mosquitoes and ticks. Once a pathogen enters a new host, it can start to replicate and cause infection. So think of pathogen like a tiny germ that can make us sick. So these germs can be moved from one person to another to survive and make people sick. It is like a journey for a germ. First, the germ needs to get into your body. It can be when you touch something with germ or it when you breath in the air with tiny droplets. Sometimes, like bugs or mosquitoes and ticks can also carry these germs and pass them to us. Once the germ is inside you, it starts to multiply and make more germs. These new germs can then be passed to other people. So the germ's life cycle is all about finding new hosts to live in, to make more of themselves and continue to make people sick. So it is important for them to move one person to another. And next,
Cycles and traits. Measurable changes in the Earth system. Organisms develop and environmental factors go hand in hand. Changes in the environment factors can also create a change in the life cycle of all types of organisms since development responds to constantly changing environment. Climate change, which means the world getting warmer, can affect the bugs that carry germs and the germs themselves. One of the biggest contributions in the changes in our environment is climate change. Increase in temperature can cause a change in the life cycle of pathogens and their vectors. Early researchers found that when temperatures are higher, vector development speeds up with faster completion of life cycle. With that, transmission of virus pathogens can also spread fast. So, as what it said, if the weather is more warmer, it can make bugs our mosquitoes and ticks grow faster and have more babies. This means that there are more of these around. If these bugs carry germs that make people sick, there's a higher chance they pass these germs to us. So, climate change can help germs spread more easily. It can also change how much it rains. More rain can create more places for mosquitoes to lay their eggs, so their numbers go up. But when there's not enough rain, some mosquitoes still find small puddles to breed in. This can also lead to more mosquitoes and more germs they carry. As the world gets warmer, some bugs and germs may move to new areas. That's a problem because people in those new areas might not be ready to deal with these diseases. Therefore, climate change can make the bugs and germs that make people sick become more active, grow faster, and spread to new places. When the weather gets warmer and wetter in higher places, a mosquito called Anopheles, which you can see in the picture, which can give people malaria, start to reproduce more. This means that there are more of these mosquitoes around. With more mosquitoes, there's a higher chance of them spreading malaria to people, so the risk of getting malaria goes up. To prevent the spread of diseases, it's crucial to maintain cleanliness in our surroundings, particularly in areas where mosquitoes can lay their eggs. Mosquitoes are known to breathe in stagnant water. Making proper sanitation is essential. Regularly tidying up places where water accumulates, like empty containers or gutters, can help eliminate mosquito breeding sites and decrease the risk of disease transmission. Maintaining a clean environment is a fundamental measure in curbing the spread of diseases. And that's all. Thank you.